With the preseason behind us and week 1 in Buffalo just around the corner, the Arizona Cardinals are in a very interesting spot. Having watched all 3 preseason games, I have a lot of questions about this team. From key injuries in practice to getting carved up by Zach Wilson. It's been a tough camp. However, it is only preseason, and the results of the games don't matter, so you can't read that far into things. Today, I'll go over the top 3 takeaways that could impact the Cardinals when it does matter. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Cardinals content. The first is pretty obvious to fans. Even if you didn't watch preseason or didn't keep up with training camp, you'd be able to see, solely based off the names on the roster, that depth is a problem. Injuries to Darius Robinson and B.J. Ojulari already put the team in a tough position heading into week 1. For Robinson, you only have to fill that void for 5 or 6 games, whereas Ojulari, who many expected to be Arizona's best pass rusher, will miss the entire season. I talked about the Ojulari injury in a previous video, saying that Victor Dimukeje needs to step up. But I'd also like to say that Xavier Thomas, Cam Thomas, and Jesse Luketa all absolutely impressed me during preseason. Cam Thomas and Jesse Luketa were both drafted in 2022, and in my opinion, both took a step back last season. So to see them both at this point, on the verge of not only making the roster, but also being impactful players, and both of which having probably the best preseasons out of anybody at that position group, is very encouraging. Whereas Xavier Thomas, a 5th rounder this year out of Clemson, was incredible. Then you add Zaven Collins and Dennis Gardeck to the equation, and Arizona has pieces. Still not sure that they are the pieces for such an important position, and I'd still like to see the front office make a splash. As far as the Robinson injury goes, it's an opportunity for Dante Stills to step up, and same with LJ Collier, who said that he wants to put the league on notice against a Super Bowl contender in week 1.
This year, and I really do think week 1 in Buffalo, we're going to put the league on notice. I feel like that'd be the perfect team to do it because, hell, everybody thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl this year. So why not start with the Super Bowl contenders and put ourselves in the mix?
Bilal Nichols needs to be great. I'll have a more in-depth video about the entire defensive front 7 out soon. The depth problem is not only evident on that side of the ball, as the offensive line looked rough. In preseason, we never saw a starter play, so I can't speak on how Evan Brown, the new left guard, and Jonah Williams, the big free agent addition at tackle, will do. What I do know is if there's an injury to any of the starters, it's going to be tough to keep Kyler off the ground. The 2nd and 3rd team offensive lines had a tough time. Paris Johnson Jr. is another unknown. Obviously, you expect him to have a really good season now in his 2nd year. However, he is changing positions, going from right tackle to the blind side, so it'll be interesting to see how Paris is able to play, and I do kind of wish that they would have had him play a preseason game or 2 just to get his feet wet. The second biggest takeaway sounds a lot like the first. It's backup quarterback, a concern that I've gotten a handful of comments about on my other videos. Clayton Tune was okay in preseason, but all he had to do was look better than Desmond Ridder, who was very bad. Obviously, in a perfect world, your backup quarterback doesn't see the field unless it's the 4th quarter and you're up big. And I'm not saying that Kyler is injury prone by any means, but you need a better option back there, just in case. Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley would probably be the best option in my opinion, and many others, including those who covered the team, have talked about the possibility of bringing in Huntley. Neither Tune or Ridder are backup caliber, or if they are, it wasn't shown in preseason. And the team needs to be in a position where if Kyler Murray misses a game or a half or even a play, they still have a chance to be able to air it out and win. And in the scenario that Kyler misses a play, we saw what Clayton Tune did in the last preseason game, having to come in for one play after Desmond Ridder was removed to go into concussion protocol, throwing a pick six when the team was in the red zone. So that's a situation that backup quarterbacks need to be prepared for. I just didn't see enough out of either of those guys to say that I'd be confident if something happened to K1. Now I'll take a different approach for this third and final takeaway, and simply saying that as fans, we need to manage our expectations. We didn't see any starters play in preseason, so I'm not saying that this team won't be good, but it's a retooling process that is a multi-year operation in the National Football League. It goes both ways though, because it was preseason and none of the starters played. So for the portion of the fan base that is overreacting, we don't need to take too much from preseason. We learned a lot more about what the Cardinals have depth-wise than what the Cardinals are going to look like all put together. No Kyler, Marv, Buddha, Connor, or basically any other starter. Gannon let the guys who are battling for a job go out and battle for a job. And in doing so, we got some silver linings in guys like undrafted rookie wide receiver Xavier Weaver, who will now look to make the team and help fill the void of Zay Jones while he serves a 5-game suspension. I'll admit, I wanted to see the big names play at least a bit, but everything that I've seen out of Cardinals camp has said positive things about the first team. So, in conclusion, it's a young team who has a lot of first and second year players in roles that many other teams would have seasoned vets. So, maybe the depth issues will take care of themselves at some spots as those young guys develop. But in the small sample size that we saw from this rookie class, Austin Ford seems to have done a decent job once again in the draft. Depth, depth, and depth. Those are the three biggest takeaways for me. Partly in a positive way, but mostly in a cautious way. Any fan that is harping too much on the front office needs to remember the team that this new regime inherited, and that this is only year 2. It's a multi-year process, but to be at this point, this soon, where the Cardinals are and already being talked about as a potential sleeper team is a huge achievement. Now, let's hope the roster goes out week 1 in Buffalo and proves them right. It's a tough start to the season schedule-wise, but there's no excuses in the NFL, and I do believe that the Arizona Cardinals are going to be very good, and please don't overreact to preseason. I'll be more worried about how the team looks September 8th more than August 25th. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Arizona Cardinals videos. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.